Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving straight into Walter Russell's The Secret of Light. And honestly, you might want to buckle up because this is going to completely shift your perspective. We're looking at a deeply complex alternative cosmology, a metaphysical lens that completely reimagines how the universe and our place within it actually works. We're going to impartially unpack these ideas, treating them as a really fascinating philosophical framework that blends physics, spirituality, and cosmic mechanics into one giant puzzle.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to map out the universe starting with the illusion of reality and the one still light. Then we'll explore creation through the two electric workers and rhythmic balanced interchange before finally bringing it all the way down to human consciousness with sensing versus knowing.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the illusion of reality.
So, we are stepping right into Russell's core premise here, which is, well, it's the idea that absolutely everything you see, touch, and measure is actually deceiving you. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to ask a foundational question. What exactly is matter? Think about the desk you're sitting at, or the screen you're looking at right now. What is it, really?
Well, Russell's answer is deeply esoteric. He states, this universe of matter in motion is but the electric record of thought. So think of reality as a giant cosmic motion picture. Russell argues that what we perceive as solid matter is simply an illusion. It's projected light in motion, originating from a single, entirely unmoving source. It's literally like staring at a movie screen and believing the projected images are solid, physical objects you can actually grab hold of.
And this brilliantly illustrates his point. Russell uses this great metaphor of a fly walking on the rim of a perfectly motionless wheel. As the fly moves forward over the wheel, it senses continuous change, forward motion, the passage of time. But the wheel itself? It's completely motionless. It is at rest, a changeless, rigid reality. The source material claims that we are just like that fly. Our physical senses literally invent the concepts of time, change, and motion, while the true, absolute reality of the universe just remains entirely still.
Moving right along to Section 2, the one still light.
So, if the physical universe of motion is just a grand illusion, what is the actual underlying reality? Well, Russell calls it the one light. He defines this as the static, magnetic stillness of the universal mind and the all-knowing cause. Basically, it's this invisible, unchanging equilibrium from which absolutely everything else springs.
The text highlights a really deep juxtaposition here. On one side, we have magnetic stillness. This is the positive principle. It represents cause, absolute knowing, the cosmic mind, and perfect balance. But on the flip side, we have electric motion. This is the negative principle, representing the realm of effect, physical sensing, unstable multiplicity, and that physical illusion we just talked about.
Now, let's jump to Section 3, the two electric workers.
You're probably wondering, how do we actually get from perfect stillness to a noisy, moving reality? The answer lies in how Russell completely overhauls standard scientific vocabulary. Let's start with electricity. He defines it not as an energy source like we normally think of it, but rather as the strain or tension set up by the two opposing desires of universal mind thinking. Basically, electricity is the tension that divides stillness into seeming motion. Think of it like the intense tension you feel when you stretch out a really thick elastic band.
Let's see how this builds. This electric tension creates two opposing forces, or workers as he calls them. The positive light worker acts as a male or father principle. Its job is to compress. It creates gravitation and actually winds light up into dense, solid matter. Conversely, the negative light worker acts as a female or mother principle. This force expands, creates radiation, and unwinds light right back into space. These two opposing forces interweave constantly to create the illusion of physical matter. It's a cosmic push and pull.
So the crucial point here is how this framework completely redefines the concept of sex. You kind of have to forget about biological gender for a second. Because in Russell's universe, sex is a universal electric condition. It's a state of unbalance, which divides a calm equilibrium into two unbalanced conditions that are constantly fighting to return to balance. Every single action in the universe, whether it's a massive star burning or a tiny drop of water forming, is driven by this electric sexed tension.
And this leads to an endless cycle of unfoldment and refoldment. First, a desire in the universal mind creates form. Second, this stillness divides into opposing male and female lights through that electric tension. Third, these opposites eventually void each other at a mutual point of rest. And fourth, the pattern repeats, over and over. Life, death, creation, destruction. According to the source, it's all just this one mechanical pattern repeating itself.
Which brings us to Section 4, Rhythmic Balanced Interchange. Now, the source claims this is the absolute fundamental law governing absolutely everything in existence. Rhythmic balanced interchange is the principle of equal giving between all moving pairs of opposites. Simply put, every single action, from a planet orbiting its sun to the ebb and flow of the ocean tides, to the simple everyday act of you breathing in and out, is a two-way cycle of equal giving and re-giving.
Basically, the universe's fundamental balance cannot be upset. No way. When nature violates this equal interchange, it pays for the unbalanced action immediately with violent storms or tornadoes. And Russell actually applies this cosmic mechanic directly to human life. He argues that humans pay for unbalanced actions with failure, enmities, and illness. True power and continuity, whether we're talking about nature, your personal health, or even a business, lie purely in giving equally and maintaining that rhythm. Unbalance always demands eventual avoidance.
All right, moving into our final part, Section 5, Sensing versus Knowing.
Let's bring this abstract cosmic map back down to our direct human experience. Now, what's really interesting here is how the text completely divorces the physical brain from true intelligence. It presents a really stark contrast. The brain, which represents sensing, is described merely as an electrically motivated machine. Sure, it records memories and automatic reflexes, but according to Russell, it doesn't actually think. True intelligence belongs to the consciousness, representing knowing. This is the static, spiritual storehouse of all knowledge and power. It's the eternal self that just centers and motivates the body. And this framework demystifies complex animal behaviors by redefining instinct. It calls instinct a purely mechanical cell memory record of bodily actions and sensations. So think about birds migrating south, or a spider spinning a complex web, or actually scratch that, even your own heartbeat. These are explained here merely as electrical reflexes carrying out cell memory. There's no conscious thought required. They are just automatic responses to universal electric signals.
So, what's the ultimate goal for humanity according to this text? Well, the source outlines a path for humans to evolve from purely sensing animals into what it calls knowing mystics. The steps involve completely ceasing our reliance on the deceptive physical senses and observed effects. Instead, we're encouraged to seek the still light through moments of deep aloneness. By doing this, the text claims we can tap into deep inspiration, which Russell refers to as the language of light, and ultimately, this allows us to become active co-creators with the universal mind.
It's a totally fascinating, all-encompassing lens through which to view existence, isn't it? We've journeyed all the way from the static, magnetic stillness of the cosmos right down to the electric workings of the human brain. And so, based on Walter Russell's metaphysical framework, we want to leave you with a provocative question to ponder as you go about your day. Are you living in the physical illusion of your senses, or the still light of your knowing? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. Catch you next time.